How's everybody doing?
You ready to go?
Anxiously awaiting my fantastic presentation. I get that a lot.
I'm gonna kick them out so that you'll have a quiet area.
Okay. Okay, as she indicated, my name is Raymond Adams. I'm a senior procurement specialist for the City of Chicago in the Department of Procurement Services. This is my colleague, Amanda. What we're going to do is I'll just go through the slides and you can just ask questions as they come up. When you ask a question, I'll give you the mic so you can speak into the mic. I believe we're recording. Any questions? All right. The name of this workshop is Doing Business with the City of Chicago. We're going to go over the mission statement, laws governing the procurement process, procurement terms, types of procurement, certification, contract monitoring and compliance, programs and bid incentives, the DPS website, and then we'll have question and answer. As I indicated, we don't have to wait until the end because I know sometimes it's hard to remember your questions, so you can just ask questions as we go through the slides. DPS is the contracting authority for the procurement of goods and services for the City of Chicago. We pledge to work together as a team and with our customers to guarantee an open, fair, and timely process by establishing, communicating, and enforcing superior business practices. Integrity, public trust, and the law are our guiding principles. The Municipal Purchasing Act, which governs what we do, is the state statute that governs the city's procurement practices. Chapter 2-92 of the Municipal Code of Chicago and the city ordinances that governs purchasing. DPS provides a checklist for bidders in every bid package. Bidders should review its bid documents and the checklist before submitting a bid. A bidder should be sure to provide all of the information requested so that the bid is complete. I'm gonna go ahead and expound on that because I have a lot of experience with that particular situation, and in a lot of circumstances, bidders might think that since they've already done business with the city, that they can omit some things. For example, if we were putting out a specification requesting services for a particular area, and let's say that the incumbent, the person who currently has the contract, is going to respond to it, they might think that they can omit a lot of things that are in the bid documents and on the checklist because the city already has that. That would be a mistake. You should always use the checklist to determine that your application is complete and that you have provided all of the documents that are requested. Because if you don't, your submission could be considered non-responsive and rejected rather. So it's important to use the checklist to determine that you've included all of the things that the city has asked for. Any questions on that?
I have a quick question. This really doesn't. My question really is pertaining to maybe something you may bring up later on, but is the City of Chicago's certification recognized by the sister agencies?
Yes.
Great.
But we don't recognize every other entity's certifications.
Okay.
We only recognize Cook County. Any other questions? Good question. Procurement terms, contract, a written agreement between the city and a vendor for the provision of goods and or services to the city by that vendor. There are a number of different forms of contracts. Bid package, a set of documents issued by the city to solicit bids for goods and services. Addendum, a change to the city's requirements and an invitation to bid, request for qualifications or request for proposals. Addendum is issued by DPS to everyone who has picked up a bid package. So, for example, one reason for the city to issue an addendum is there might be some change in the requirements, in the document submission requirements. There might be even a change in the due date when the proposals are due. That would be one of the reasons that we issue an addendum. So it's important when you get documents from the city, whether electronically or in person, that you provide your contact information so that we can notify you when an addendum is issued. Amendment or modification, a document which formally changes the terms and conditions of a contract. There are several forms of amendments to contracts. The form that is most commonly known as a change order to a construction contract. Bids.
So when we talking about somebody else gaining the bid, then we still have access to look at their bid documents to see if we can provide services for that company, or how does that work?
No, you can't look at their bid documents. You can only look at their redacted bid documents after the award is made, and we post the redacted bid documents on the website.
Okay,
You don't need to look on their bid documents anyway to determine if you're partnered with them.
okay,
Because the description of the project that will be in the specification that we release on the street would identify what the services are, so you would already know if there was some services that were being provided that you could participate in. So you wouldn't need to look at the bid document anyway.
okay, all right.
Good question. Yes, sir.
You mentioned about WBE and MBE. What about VBE? Is there consideration for veterans?
Yes. Again, excellent question. The city has a number of incentives that apply to some of our contracts. It depends on the nature of the contract, but all of the incentives that apply will be listed in the contract. But yeah, there is a VBE incentive. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
So are the pre-bid meetings posted or listed?
Yes, when the specification is released, we would have already identified all of the key dates, and one of the key dates would be the time and location and date of the pre-bid.
And it would be in what you guys send, because I get several bids or review when contracts come up for review. So I will receive those via email.
Blast from the DPS blast.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So would it be in there?
yeah, once you open up the bid document, it would have the dates of the pre-bid.
Okay.
printed. You guys making me work today, huh? End of the day, too, all right. Fill in all required information. Certain bid documents must be submitted and executed with the bid. If not, the bid could be rejected. That goes back to what I was saying about making sure that you submit everything that's requested and you follow the checklist to make sure that your submission is complete. The checklist would be within the bid document when you pick it up or download it from online. Sign and execute the document and have the notarized. No, this is for our benefit, not yours.
Oh, okay. So where are we picking the bid up at?
Okay.
The
so
bid documents?
You would find out that we have the specification out either by getting it sent to you via email, as this lady indicated, or you would look in the Sun Times and we post them all.
Sometimes in the classified.
Right, or you could come here and request it.
So is it on like the DPS website?
Yeah, and it would definitely be on the DPS.
I saw something on there, but I didn't see a lot on there.
Well, on any given day, it might be a lot, it might not be. It depends.
So it changes how often?
We could be putting up something theoretically every day.
Oh,
I can't, I mean, I only know the stuff that.
so
I
that
know.
thing could change every day, like that
Yeah.
bid?
There could be something that you might
Oh.
want to get some information about or bid on. So yeah,
Okay.
you should check it regularly.
Yeah, thank you.
No?
No.
No. All right. Another thing that you should do when you're submitting your documents, there's usually a cover letter that you have to submit with your package. I see a lot of times that that's not signed. So make sure you signed your letter and have your paperwork notarized as indicated. Bid, bond, or deposit may be required for some bids. Will not exceed 10% of the contract amount. Must be submitted in the proper form. Cash is not accepted. Bids must be timely on the bid opening date.
So must the cover letter always be submitted?
Yes.
Okay.
The specification will have all of the requirements and all the documents that you have to submit in it. Bid openings are Monday through Friday, except major holidays, at 11 a.m. in the bid and bond room here. Bids are opened and read aloud. Bids are tabulated. Bid tabulation and bid documents are reviewed for accuracy and completeness. Bid tabulation can be viewed online at the DPS website 24 hours after bid opening. Award process. Determination is made regarding the bidder's responsiveness and responsibility for award. Recommendation of award. Acceptable bids are packaged. Bid and contract documents are routed through the signature approval process. Contractor performance and payments bond, insurance and funding agency concurrence for award if applicable are obtained. Contract awarded to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, meeting city specifications. And just to elaborate on that, responsive is the degree to which you meet the requirements of the specification that you submitted your paperwork for. Responsible means the capacity to perform the services. Method used to solicit proposals to implement a new project requiring professional services, used when the city doesn't have, this is the request for proposals, used when the city doesn't have in-house technical experts or resources to implement project or services. RFP defines project objectives and scope of services, but doesn't detail every aspect of implementing the project. Requires detailed evaluation of proposals by an evaluation committee based on criteria stated in the RFP. Low price is not the only factor, but it can be a consideration. Award is made to the highest rated and ranked respondents. Request for qualifications. Yes.
What do you mean the highest rating?
So the evaluation committee will rate the proposals that were received based on the criteria that was published with the bid documents that were released. And they will give ratings on a scale of maybe 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 or whatever the rating scale is. And those firms that receive the highest rating or ranking will be considered for contracting. Request for qualifications or RFQ. Method used to solicit qualifications from companies who possess a high degree of technical expertise and knowledge in specific disciplines. City pre-qualifies companies to build a vendor pool to respond to future task orders, which are individual projects. So these would be like the task orders are almost like mini contracts. Evaluation selection is based on qualifications and technical competence. For A&E, which is architectural and engineering RFQs, there's no cost proposal. Fee schedule is negotiated later as part of the master agreement. Most commonly used for A&E design contracts and certain categories of consulting. Job order contracts, or JOC. JOC is a firm fixed price competitively bid indefinite quantity contract specifically designed for each department's construction program. Method used to solicit qualifications from companies who possess a high degree of technical expertise and knowledge in specific disciplines. Method is used to accomplish small to medium-sized projects. Instead of bidding every small or medium construction job and developing plans and technical specifications, departments can use JOC. General contractors are solicited to respond to an advertised JOC specification, which contains a unit price book with various construction tasks, with description, unit of measure, and unit price for each task. Award to the general contractor offering the most favorable adjustment factors against the price book. Work performed during normal working hours and work performed other than normal working hours. Value of JOC contract depends upon departmental needs and budget. Economic disclosure statements. The EDS addresses the disclosure of ownership. Online completion of the EDS is mandatory for most solicitations. In addition to the applicant, any legal entity which owns more than 7.5% direct or indirectly in the applicant firm must also file an EDS. Certifications. There are 6 types of certification: MBE, WBE, BEPD, DBE, ACDBE, and VBE, which we discussed before, the veteran-owned business. Basic eligibility requirements: businesses must be at least 51% owned and controlled by qualifying minorities, women, veterans, individuals with disabilities or other disadvantaged individuals. Businesses must also be small businesses, and businesses must be independent and viable. MBE, WBE, DBE participation. Section 292420 sets forth the city's minority-owned and women-owned business enterprise procurement program for all contracts other than construction. Section 2-92-650 sets forth the city's minority and women-owned business enterprise procurement program for construction contracts. And 49 CFR Part 26, which is the federal regulations, CFR's Consolidated Federal Register, sets forth the rules regarding participation by disadvantaged business enterprises on federally funded projects. So a lot of the projects that we fund are use what we call corporate funds, but some use funds from other entities like the federal government. So on federal government projects, the DBE designation would apply. Commercially useful function. The City of Chicago Department of Procurement Services counts MBE, WBE, DBE expenditures towards MBE, WBE, DBE goals only if the MBE, WBE, DBE is performing a commercially useful function. What constitutes a commercially useful function? Certified firm performs a commercially useful function when it is responsible for the execution of a distinct element of the work of the contract, which is carried out by actually performing, managing, and supervising the work involved or fulfilling responsibilities as a joint venture. Reduction, waiver, and good faith efforts. A contractor may not be entitled to a reduction or waiver of MBE, WBE goals during the performance of the contract after substantial completion of the contract or at the time of contract closeout, unless the contractor in writing makes a request to the CPO for reduction or waiver. A contractor seeking a waiver or reduction of MBE and or WBE goals must demonstrate to the satisfaction of the CPO that it has made good faith efforts to meet its MBE, WBE utilization goals. Contract monitoring and compliance. Monitor the actual utilization of MWDBEs that have been listed as subcontractors on a compliance plan. Ensure compliance with Chicago residency ordinance requirements and equal employment opportunity commitments. Chicago residency ordinance. Construction contract must be estimated at $100,000 or more and funded by the City of Chicago. 50% of the total work hours must be performed by actual residents of the City of Chicago, and 7.5% of the total work hours must be performed by project area residents. Equal employment opportunity. In order to promote equality of opportunity for minority and female personnel on city-funded construction projects, an award criteria determination must be inserted into each contract specification that is estimated at $100,000 or more. Bidders are invited to propose minority and female employee utilization goals.
My question is, just for instance, I own a dump truck.
Okay.
So I'm a disabled veteran, minority-owned business.
Okay.
So I would go to whoever has the contract and solicit the use of my dump truck at their site, or
Right, but your service would have to be related to that contract.
that contract.
That's what they call a commercially useful function.
Okay.
So your having dump truck services might not relate to, for example, a real estate contract.
Right.
Like the city hires real estate brokers.
Right.
So you would have to find a contract, like maybe the city's master contract with waste management or something, and participate on that because you have such a unique specific function. So a number of contracts you can be able to participate in based on what you do.
Okay. Gotcha.
Equal employment opportunity. In order to promote equality of opportunity for minority and female personnel on city-funded construction projects, an award criteria determination must be inserted into each contract specification that is estimated at $100,000 or more. Bidders are invited to propose the minority and female employee utilization goals. Ways to achieve compliance. The prime is an MBE, WBE, or DBE, joint venturing with MBE, WBE, or DBEs, subcontracting a portion of the work to one or more MBE, WBE, or DBEs, purchasing materials that are used in the performance of the contract from one or more of the MWDBEs. Reporting requirements. Prime contractors are responsible for submitting monthly subcontractor payment certification forms, weekly payrolls, and waivers of lien. Programs and bid incentives. Some of the programs that we offer are the Small Business Initiative for Construction, Mid-Sized Business Initiative, MBI Construction, Non-Construction MBI Program, Diversity Credit Program, Target Market Program, that's non-construction only, Mentor Protege Program, MBE WBE Phase Graduation Program. As far as bid incentives, veteran-owned business enterprises, small local business, joint venture VBEs, veteran-owned subcontractor utilization, business enterprises owned by people with disabilities, city-based manufacturers, city-based businesses, apprentice utilization, ex-offenders, and CPS, CCC graduates, alternatively powered vehicles, mentor protege program, project area subcontractor utilization, equal employment opportunity, incentive to encourage utilization of MBE WBEs. DPS website. On our website, you can find awarded contracts and modifications, payments made to vendors, bid tabulations, weekly bid opportunities, searchable MBE WBE directory, where you can find firms that are certified by the city already, bid incentives, regulations, and that's the website there. Questions?
Quick ones. First of all, funds held back. Do you hold back funds until the project is completed? And if so, how long are the funds held? But let's say, for example, if you make sure the project is completed properly according to your specifications. So would there be a reason?
You're referring to like construction projects?
Yeah, probably construction, yes.
Okay.
Although I'm not in construction, but if I work with a firm that's dealing with that.
The procurement department wouldn't normally get involved with that. That's the user departments would determine that.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why any funds would be held back unless it was determined that the prime on the contractor wasn't paying subs properly.
Okay.
And then that would be an instance where the city would step in to make sure that the subcontractors were paid.
Okay.
But usually that would be done through the user department,
Okay.
not directly through.
Okay. And then the other part of that question is, another separate question would be under reporting requirements. Are there requirements for financial statements?
Yes.
From the, okay.
Good question. Did you have another question?
Yeah, but confidentiality of information. What is your?
Okay, as far as financial statements, yes, you would be required to turn in preferably audited financial statements for the 5 years leading up to the present. If you don't have audited financial statements, something similar to that the evaluators could review to determine that you're in good financial stability. As far as confidentiality, your bid documents that you submit to the city will be posted on the city's website once the contract has been awarded. So if there's any information that you view as proprietary, you would redact or cross that out. But you have to be reasonable as far as what you redact. You can't like redact your entire proposal. But there might be, for example, resumes that are submitted for employees and you don't want their personal addresses known, for example, or there might be certain aspects of your financials that you don't want made public, that type of thing. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to find out, I probably would be considered a sole source company, and I'm trying to figure out how to do business with the city. I created the first ever national life insurance registry company. So we keep track of your life insurance so family members don't have to tear up your house trying to figure out what you've got and where it's at. So it has been very challenging since I've gotten my certification to figure out what department to talk to, and I'm kind of being given the runaround. And then when I email or send or call, I'm still not really making any progress with this, and I'm a little concerned because I've done everything they asked me to do, and now I can't figure out how to do business with the city.
Okay. Well, let me address the first part of your statement. Based on what you described, you probably are a sole source because as far as you know, you're the only company that offers that service. Correct. Okay. Based on what I know about the city's operations, I'm trying to envision an instance where we would be contracting somebody to do that. So that would be the problem. That's not something that the city would be looking to contract for. That would be, I'm not sure. I would have to think about how you would market that, but I don't see that being something that the city would put a contract out for. And if they did, it would only be as a benefit to city employees as part of their benefits package or something. But I'm not aware of them doing anything like that at this point.
Right, we would be on the benefit side.
Right. So you would almost have to approach a benefits provider and see if they would want to incorporate what you do into the services they offer to make their services more attractive to the city, maybe. Right. For example. I don't see the city putting out a request for proposals for something like that directly. Any other questions? No, this is for our benefit, not yours.
Okay. So I basically I was a sub to a prime that was within the realm of business that I already did. In the middle of me getting my certification, MBE certification, we had already started the project, and I didn't think of it at the time, so we proceeded with the project. That was like 2.5 years. When I was done with the project, the treatment plant itself wanted to use me for chemical distribution. Now, because I didn't win a contract as a prime or wasn't amended to the prime's contract, can't go back, so it's like trying to find that next job related to bid, but it's one of those things where it was already, if you're in their system, right, the registry system, then they can look through and scan like different municipalities that want to use you for your services. Okay. But if you're not in the system because you haven't won you know what I mean, it's hard to get recognized, kind of was where I was struggling with that.
So you're trying to determine how you can become a MBE partner to one of the companies that's, what kind of service?
No, so for example, I had a contract with the water department as the sub to sterilize the, we'll call them reservoirs and tanks on the South Treatment Plant. And if they can only go through a list, like a directory list of who they can use. So say I'm a chemical company and another chemical company's in there. If I haven't been a prime or been awarded or won a contract, I'm not on that list. So they could only go by people on that list. So I could bid on future projects involving that, but it's, that's where it gets tough, I guess, as far as.
What's your question?
Well, my question is there a way to go back and, since I already did a contract with the city as a sub, is there a way to go back with my prime and get me amended to the contract, basically? So then if they amend me, what DPS was saying, Procurement was saying.
You're trying to get a retroactive certification so that you can get paid for a contract that you worked on as part of a city contract?
No, yeah, I'm already certified. I already was the sub on a prime contract, but now if I was added and amended to the prime contract at that time, then I would have been in the system, the DPS registry system, where different outlets, right.
Are you two together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my wife.
So this question sounds like it's something that we need to do outside of this meeting.
Okay.
You have a specific question.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
need to talk to somebody in our certification department. Because I'm struggling with understanding exactly what you need, so I'm sure this is probably not going to benefit the rest of the people here. But actually, there was somebody down here from certification, but I guess she left.
No,
So,
we're trying to get on the under list. He's already certified. So if he's just been part of a prime, he's saying that before he was certified, he was part of the sub on that prime.
If you look at the vendor list, right?
What-
Chicago has a list of vendors.
you mean of certified vendors?
Yes, certified vendors.
Okay.
So, if you're not, how do you become a certified vendor, right?
You have to go through the certification process. You have to fill out an application and work with our certification unit.
I have that. What I'm saying is that you have to win a contract, right?
They awarded a contract in order to be part of that vendor list, even if you already have the certification for us, the vendor number.
Okay, we need to talk after this. Because I can't answer your question because I don't work in certification. So the level of detail that you're asking, I can't answer. Any other questions? Yeah, Victoria, that's who was down here. Yeah. Yeah, she's very helpful. Any other questions? Anybody need a business card? All right, well, thank you for attending. And remember, if you're a minority or disadvantaged or MBE, WBE, try to attend some of these pre-bids so you can get some contracts with some of these prime contractors. Very important.